Well, this video, I just wanted to take a moment to discuss this. Now, generally, we stopped doing a lot of gaming, and once in a while we'll throw a story on there. We just find we don't have the views for it. I mean, there are a lot of great YouTubers out there, including one that's upstarting that's coming up on there, and I do recommend it, Kevin for the Win. I recommend his channel on there, which is Dreadscape Gaming. Do check it out. He plays He plays a lot of gaming. He does play a lot on there. He's really good. But the thing about it is, the views are not there. I mean, you got guys like Young Yi and a lot of others, even Fat Steven Seagal, who play games all day long. And like I said, the views ain't there. We've tried gaming back and forth a couple of times. We've been on Twitch, we're on DLive, and the tests didn't do too well. I mean, there are two reasons for it. Like I said, the first one is because of the saturation of a lot of people in gaming. If you don't have a good hook, most people will stay away, or most people are satisfied with what they have. The other half is what we're going to discuss right now, is how we are treated online by some of the big companies. And I think if you, it's no longer posted there, but in the early days of this channel, we used to host the E3 events, and we used to carry it live. Now, a lot of times the music will get us flagged. Even that years ago, when it wasn't as hard it is, the takedowns as it is now, we've gotten a couple flags. In fact, we've had to take off these particular early videos because basically to this day, we continue every once in a while to get a DMC takedown. And it's just ridiculous for something that's like over 4 years old. Yeah, that goes to show you. Over 4 years ago, they're hitting us with DMC takedowns. But we've done something whereas it no longer is an issue. But also, a lot of these companies warn YouTubers, don't stream our live events. Don't stream our live events. Some of them don't, and some of them do. The thing about it is, and before we get right into the meat of this story, these companies don't realize this is free advertisement. This is, you're not paying for this. I know some YouTubers are making money off of this, but understand this, is that it's free advertisement. They're advertising, whether they like the product or not, it's advertisement. The corporation sometimes doesn't get every viewer. They might get a couple of 100,000 viewers to their live stream, or a couple million, depending on what's going on. But a lot of times, some people, they just, either didn't hear about it because it wasn't advertised correctly, or basically they just don't like some of these events because basically they just talk. But you have YouTubers like Young Yi, or Fat Steven Seagal, and a bunch of others that sit there and, sometimes they get excited, sometimes they get mad, and they give their own 2 cents to the situation. And I think that's what some of the viewers want to see. They want to see events where basically somebody's off to the side and says, hey, look, I like this, but here's what the problems I'm seeing so far. And I think they're afraid of it. Now, a couple of days ago, over the weekend, we had the E3, which was horrendous. Microsoft was the only one that showed some sort of promise, but not enough to say, hey, I'm excited. During the week, about Tuesday, it was about Tuesday, Nintendo had their co-stream, their stream live on there. Now, they put up a warning, and IGN put this up, and a lot of people were pissed off on this. And basically, Nintendo told streamers not to co-stream the Direct E3.
Oh, well, that's only fair, because after all, I did hide him from the... What?
And threaten legal. Now, you might say to yourself, well, you're on the opposite side of the world. Yeah, there are some Japanese rules, yes, that may correspond to it, and they'll go after them in Japan. I don't think they'll hit anybody else in the world. That is a little incorrect, because we pulled up some stuff on there. We pulled up the exact language that they're talking about, and it is something they posted on Twitter, and we translated it on there. And the one thing at the bottom, before we go further in the article, is that illegal or inappropriate posts that are offensive to public order and morale included are but not limited to the following: those who violate laws and regulations of each country, infringement of Nintendo's intellectual property rights, acts that interfere with the normal operation and impact safety of Nintendo products or services, so on and so on and so on. So a lot of people, you would say, and maybe something has changed by the time this airs, Nintendo went out and says, don't stream our stuff. Don't stream it all. And the article puts up that basically, with everyone hyping the build for today's Nintendo Direct during the E3 2021, Nintendo's gone and done something to temper the excitement for the presentation somewhat in a tweet from the Japanese branch of Nintendo. The company has asked streamers not to include footage of today's Direct in their live streams. The statement, when translated by Google or Twitter, reads, "Please refrain from mirror distribution of Nintendo Direct video and audio during the live distribution of Nintendo Direct. Simultaneously viewing distributors without a mirror distribution is possible. After a live stream distribution of Nintendo Direct, you can post a video that handles the distribution of the video as long as the content complies with the guidelines." There's a lot of guidelines on here. In other words, Nintendo Japan is asking streamers not to show live footage of the event in their stream. Of course, streamers can still show reactions of what they're watching during the live stream, but don't include any footage of it live streaming. The response has been through the roof on this, on that day. So much that Twitch itself, said it was not going to stream the Nintendo Direct live feed from E3 in solidarity with its creators. Now, see, the thing about it is, they said, "Oh, this is a live event." It wasn't a live event. This was a pre-recorded footage, okay, edited and put out there. There hasn't been that much live footage from E3 since the beginning of the pandemic. And that's the same thing with Comic-Cons and all that. And you get to the freaking point that Nintendo is either trying to bank money off YouTube, which we looked into this Social Blade, which Social Blade is not really exact, but the live channel, wasn't monetized, but their other channel is. Whereas they're roughly doing about 100,000, I think, a month on YouTube. Now, is that the case factor that they want all the money? Possibly. Do they want to keep control of the event and they don't want any backlash or anybody talking bad about their product? Absolutely. One thing you learn in this business, and then we're talking about 2021, is don't let any bad press happen. I find that incorrect. I find that very incorrect. Do you know why? I come from a generation where there is no such thing as bad press. If someone is talking about your product, if someone is sitting there, whether they bad-mouthing it, enjoying it, high praising it, or hitting it into the dumpster, it's still going to get people to look. Look at a lot of the videos. Look, what are the popular videos out there? A lot of it's bad press. A lot of it's, YouTubers that says, well, we don't like this. And there's also a lot of good ones that says, yeah, we do like this. But you understand, you're getting about, depending on because we haven't done really a ratio, you're probably getting about equal. Maybe on certain things, it might be unbalanced but it is still free, FREE, advertisement for your product.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
Why wouldn't you do? And the thing about it is, here's the thing about it. A lot of the YouTubers out there have become more mini publishers, more toward broadcast channels. And they're expanding. I'll give you a perfect example. Tim Cast. He is expanding to full news. He's getting a news crew together. He went from YouTuber to newscaster in just a matter of a couple of years. And that's happening right now. He has a website which is printing news. It's still being developed. He's gotten other people involved, other newscasters, other people in the media business. You have to remember, he helped build Vice. There are others on YouTube that are doing the same, that are building up. Geeks and Gamers is another one that is building up. You know, some of these YouTubers are getting interviews with, you know, celebrities and all that. Midnight's Edge just had the Stand and Deliver reunion. Edward James Olmos and the rest of the cast. You're seeing the change that's going on. That basically on YouTube, we are the new independent media. We are coming forward. We're becoming the new independent media and entertainment. Most people get their news these days from YouTube. That's why the networks are so afraid, and that's why they're trying to push us out by coming on YouTube. And the big corps, they're afraid of us because of what we say, because people do listen to us. That should tell you something, Nintendo. That should tell you that we have high regards with our viewers. Look at the comment lines on most of these YouTubers, especially the gamer ones. It is super popular right now. Some people say, well, it's just a fad. No, it is not a fad. They called public access a fad decades ago. Public access is still around, not as strong as it used to be, but a lot of the people that were there went on to create their own companies, or they went on to corporate companies that built up. Or some of them got hired by networks because they saw how good. Some people got hired by ESPN and HBO Sports. Others got a contract for a show on MTV. Others are acting right now and making low-budget films with Hollywood actors. Others who have been in the business a while is working with restoration, creating animation, various on there. So there is a point that we're going to get to in YouTube. May not be this year, may not be next year, maybe a decade down the line. So I would say to Nintendo, respect the YouTubers. Because you've seen what has happened to a lot of the TV shows, series, games, and stuff like that. Nintendo is afraid what's going to happen, like what happened with Cyberpunk, with a lot of these other games, that they're going to get slammed. Well, let me tell you something. If you make a crappy game, if you have a crappy E3 conference, that should tell you. You shouldn't be afraid. One thing where it says Japan, Nintendo Japan, you have had situations where people love the anime and manga from there. And a lot of great games have come out of Japan that people over here would buy bootlegs in the store to buy it because they can't play it here because it's not available here. They'll emulate their systems so they're able to play those games. There's a guy, Metal Jesus Rocks, who goes to Japan and back. He had a whole show on it, and he brought back some great games. And his collection is through the roof. And he finds stuff that basically it's not available in the U.S. And he has systems that are able to play it here. Constantly, we are criticized. Listen to guys like Nerdrotic, as Heel versus Babyface, Fat Steven Seagal, World Class Bullshitters. I mean, listen to those guys. Toxic Femininity, not leaving the ladies out this time around. We all go through the same things on a daily basis. This channel, Cuticast Television, has been in the build for a long time. I've been trying to put this together with several people for, since we left public access. We've gone through a lot of road bumps. And a lot of those road bumps have been potholes big. Very large potholes. I mean, right now, we're on our way to 400 subscribers. Now, as far as views go, on our other social media sites, we're doing a lot better on certain shows. Saturday Pre-Flight is doing excellent on BitChute. It's doing fantastic on BitChute. Let me put it in that perspective. Versus YouTube, where it does average. Now, I said before the show has been successful. Yeah, it is successful. We have people commenting on it constantly, talking about it. There are people who enjoy it. They've clicked on, they've seen it. It's a good one. That's why we do Slice of Pre-Flight, because some people don't go through the whole thing. We look at the where they cut out and stuff like that. So we've taken little slices. It's like Crowder Bits, take a little segment, throw it out at you. Maybe it'll encourage you to continue watching the whole program, because they'll get to the main storyline of the show, but then that's where they'll stop, because they know what the end is. It's comments and Svengoolie and DVD of the week, or what's on my video shelf. But this is constant. This is always a constant when it comes to the gaming industry as well. They don't want us talking about their product. I mean, there are those out there that don't mind it. There's a couple of video game developers, small ones, that go on some of these shows. I know, what was it? The G.I. Joe, the guys who developed the G.I. Joe game went on Geeks and Gamers because Jeremy had some issues on there, and they wanted to hear their input on, what they felt was incorrect on the game. Now, did they fix it? I don't know, because I haven't kept up with that particular story. Probably they did. It's the same thing with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. They heard it from the fans. The people saw that Sonic and they said, that's not Sonic. What the company did, they delayed the opening of it, went back and did replaced all the CG with a more proper Sonic, and it did well. It did pretty well. How can you argue with that? How can you freaking argue with that? So I'm glad Twitch said, we're not going to show. We have people here who play their games, put their things on there, and it's part of our community. There was a commercial many years ago.
When I first tried Fabergé Organics shampoo with pure wheat germ oil and honey, it was so good I told 2 friends about it, and they told 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on.
That said, and a lot of companies, a lot of retailers took this and put it in their training programs. Word of mouth continues to be strong. With the internet now, it's even stronger. And then there are those who want to voice that basically we are supremacists, we orange man, we are far right, not knowing who we are. I just got called far right this past week by some news website that's tracking Twitter people. I have 2 Twitter sites right now. One is the Q2Cast site, and the other one is the Man with the Show site. I do spend a little bit more time on the Man Show, but I try to, equal balance. When you look at both sites, they're totally different. On one side, I have, my news influencers is Nerdrotic, Lady Greymaster, and someone else, which is, it's just people talking. The other one, which is my Q2Cast site, has Kitten Academy, about cats, Hero High, anime, and one other that's just basically, she's a model and she does some crazy stuff every once in a while. Sometimes she does, I don't know if she still does because I haven't watched her YouTube channel in a bit. She used to do video games and she used to do watch parties. On my Man with the Show site, they tell me that I frequent a particular far-right, they call it far-right website, which I don't. It's not on my subscription list. They don't subscribe to me. I don't subscribe to them. But yet they said I do. The other 2 are the Variety and the New York Post. I'm in New York City. Obviously, I'm in New York City. I'm going to be reading the New York Post. If you're in LA, you're going to be reading the LA Times. If you're in Florida, in Miami, you're going to be reading the Miami Herald. Obviously, you're going to have it on your Twitter site. But yet, that's what makes me far right, which is ridiculous. But this is the thought some of these companies, these people, and all that have in mind. Fat Steven Seagal brought it up today, that day. He told them to F off. Really F off. Nintendo. We had respect for you because you were doing the right things. You were not bending the knee on every single problem and stuff like that. But then you come across with this and it says, no, we don't want you to do this. How about you sit down and talk to some of us? Talk to Young Yi. Talk to Dr. Disrespect. Talk to a lot of these guys that show your product on a daily basis. Gaming YouTubers, check with them. Geeks and Gamers, sit with them. Give them some stuff. And I'm not talking about merchandise. I'm talking about trailers, information, interviews. Speak to them. Maybe you might learn something. You might learn something. Now, some of you might tout the Japanese laws and stuff like that. Yeah, we have laws here too. We have similar laws on this end of the world. But there are also other laws that protect broadcasters and people like us on YouTube and stuff like that from being attacked. But lately, we haven't had too much backup from our social media partners. Especially Facebook and YouTube and Twitter. And on occasion Twitch. But I'm going to keep Twitch out of this because basically they did the right thing this time around. We are on BitChute, we're on Odyssey, we're on Minds, and we don't have these issues. And people say, well, they're just far-right sites. Have you been on them? Have you looked at them? There are a lot of people switching over. There are a lot of people, guys on gaming and anime and fandoms moving over there. And these are people that don't give a crap about politics. Some of them are not even in this country. So you can't call them far right. Oh, man. We all have an opinion. Here in the United States, we have freedom of speech. Lately, it's been attacked left and right that people just don't want us talking about certain things. We get blocked on social media. We get blocked on the street. We get attacked on by people on the street because we have our own opinions. I miss the 80s and 90s. It was such a great time period. Because we were proud to be what we are. You know, I tout back. I don't agree with everything that Jeff Daniels had said in a particular TV series by Aaron Sorkin, The Newsroom. But he hits it pretty much almost out of the park in the second half of his monologue. That we did things that we were proud of. We never beated our chests. We didn't reflect who we voted for. We didn't care. We voted and that was it. These days, you know, it gets a little scary that we have to sit here and get insulted, attacked by people who we don't even know. They don't even know us. Corporations look to get every bang for their dollar. They try to appease a small percentage of people, not realizing is that basically they're being what they're trying to avoid. But they're falling into that trap 100 times fold. What's the next year going to be like for us on YouTube? I don't know. What's the next year going to be like in gaming? I don't know. What's the next year going to be like in entertainment? I don't know. There is one thing I could tell you is that there are those who are fighting, just like our forefathers, because they have a belief. We made things. We made things with our hands. We put ourselves where we used to educate, help cure diseases. We tried to stop poverty, and we treated it as poverty and not the poor. There are many things in life that still we don't understand, and we're trying to. But there are those who have either lost their mind or have a political agenda to try to destroy what this country has built up. Like I said, I love the 80s and the 90s. I had so much fun working on public access back in the day. Yes, we had our issues. Yes, we had to deal with the FCC. Yes, we had to deal with local broadcast television rules and stuff like that. But we still had fun, and we did our best to put out a damn decent programming, no matter how weird it was. Some of the people that were involved in it are gone. Some of them are still around and they're in the industry. Others have given up on the industry and just faded away to being obscured from history. What will we look at in a year from now in the next E3? Would Nintendo change their minds and see this, how much of an outrage this was, or will they just continue it and just hammer it even more stronger than the year before? Well, we'll have to wait till then. You've reached this part of the video. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share this video, and most of all, comment. Let me know how you felt. how do you feel about the gaming industry? Have they been fair or have they been unfair? Remember, the comic book industry is pretty much almost gone, the mainstream. And an independent one is growing, and manga has dominated the industry. The big three, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo, what will they be like? Will they fall in the same pattern? Remember, Sega is on its way out. So until next time, thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye now.
And I've always sought an end of toil and misery. It can't be given, it has to be achieved. There is hope. But it has to come from inside.
Wow.
The man himself.
Cool. James Arnett will be back in Sweet Sweetback's
No,
Badass
Peter
Songs.
Graves.